Stay tuned for the Joan Quinn Profiles. As an editor for Andy Warhol's Interview, the Los Angeles Herald-Examiner, LA Style, and Detour magazines, Joan covered the social set, the Hollywood hotshots, the international art scene, the mysteries of food, the excitement of travel, and the fabulous world of fashion. Joan continues to find creative people on the cutting edge who make things happen. Here's Joan Agajanian Quinn.
Hi, I'm Joan Quinn, and welcome to the Joan Quinn Profiles. Waiting to be profiled are author Suzanne Lloyd and jewelry designer Rhonda Faber Green. Author-producer Suzanne Lloyd was born in Santa Monica and raised at her grandfather's estate in Beverly Hills, the famous Green Acres. She went to my alma mater, Westlake School for Girls, which is now called Harvard Westlake. She has kept the memory of Harold Lloyd, her grandfather, alive through books, articles, personal appearances, and being everywhere, all around the world, right, Suzanne? What was it like to grow up on Green Acres?
Oh, well, thank you, Joan, for
right?
inviting me. Yes, Green Acres. Well, Green Acres was really the place to be, I guess, as the show goes, the TV show.
Is that what it was, actually?
No, he actually bought the property off Benedict Canyon as an investment in 1920 when he was still making two-reelers. And
that's your grandfather?
My grandfather, Harold Lloyd. And he bought it way before he was thinking about building a home there. And he put the property together, and he held it. And because he was born in Nebraska, it reminded him of his, time when he was a little boy and growing up, and he had a lot of Huck Finn qualities about him. And one day he went out just to view the property, and he just married my grandmother, Mildred Davis, his leading lady, who was his leading lady in 12 films. And it just kind of struck him how green it was, and he said, well, this is really Green Acres. And the name fit. And
it's like a castle, though. It's huge. Isn't it huge?
It's a beautiful testament to Italian Renaissance architecture.
It's so beautiful.
And it is beautiful, and it is a national treasury and a national trust home.
I see.
I made sure that happened after the property was run as a museum, but is now a privately held home.
And they can't do anything to it, though.
No, it can't be touched.
But didn't you have a little farmyard and little things like that on the property?
There was the sweetest dollhouse.
The
dollhouse was built for my mother, who also was a Westlake School for Girls girl.
She was?
She went to Westlake, and her sister Marjorie went to Westlake.
Oh.
And so I was kind of the second generation to go to Westlake. And they built the dollhouse for her. Was a little place where when they were building the estate, she was 2 years old. He was filming his famous film, The Freshman, about football, and he said, well, there's got to be a place to put the baby, and we're walking around trying to figure out the house. So they built her own little house first with electricity and running water and a stables and a play yard.
Right? Oh, there were stables and
yes.
play yards. That's what I thought.
Totally just for his daughter, my mother.
And then your mother moved back in and brought you as a child?
Yes, I came as a child. My parents were separated, and I ended up living my entire, childhood with my grandparents. They raised me as they were my guardians.
That's so wonderful. It really is a wonderful story.
It's a great story.
And
I got the dollhouse.
You did?
I got to redo the dollhouse, so it was all redone for me. So I had a wonderful time.
But
I was
is
already
it
there.
Miniature or is
No,
it big?
you could stand up in there. You can stand up. There was a bedroom, a kitchen, a bathroom, a beautiful little living room, a fireplace, a brick fireplace. Oh, just perfect.
Oh, it sounds so great.
It's
Shirley Temple didn't have anything like that.
But she used to come and play.
Did she?
All the time. And she went to Westlake too. Shirley Temple was
yes.
at Westlake.
Yes, well, here we are, all of us. Was it a Christmas tree that was there all the time?
A Christmas tree, yes. He loved
year-round?
Year-round. He loved Christmas. Well, it started, he would put it up, and it was a beautiful testament to Christmas, and he loved Christmas, but my grandmother Mildred really loved Christmas, so he really did it for her. And the tree started to kind of morph and get bigger and bigger, and fans knew he had a beautiful tree, and so they used to send him ornaments, or people handmade ornaments for him. And at the end, the tree took about 3.5 weeks to put up, and it had over 7,000 ornaments. So a couple of times he said, well, maybe the tree could just stay up to the following year, because this is hard getting this up and down. And he was so involved with taking care of the children from the Shriners hospitals, and
so
he
good.
ran 22 hospitals for them for 13 years as the chairman.
So they got to see the tree.
Oh, they got to see the tree, but with his duties and traveling all the time, it was very important.
Making
So,
his appearances there
appearances and raising
talking.
funds for the Shriners.
That's so great.
So he was very dedicated.
So it was a tree that was up.
Yes,
all
it
now
was.
we know why. You
That's
couldn't
why.
take you all year to take
It down, up and down.
Well, unfortunately, your grandfather passed away at a very young age, I think in his late 70s, and left you in charge, a 19-year-old girl, in charge of the film library. And he had how many films had he made at that time?
He'd made 200 films. And I mean, that includes one-reelers that he started. You know, he started his career by being an extra. He broke onto the lot at Universal Studios, and he met his producer, Hal Roach. They were both extras. They kicked him off the lot more times than not because he really hadn't been hired. But finally, a director said, hey, you got on the lot, you've got great makeup, stay. And that was history, and he met Hal Roach. They went out on the streets and started making one-reelers. And from
what's
then
a
on,
one-reel? Tell us what a one-reel is.
a one-reel would be
I'll
a
hold this up while
very,
you're-
very short 10-minute little comedy movie. And then from one-reelers, and they were comics were making them, then they made two-reelers and three-reelers,
see.
and then went into features. Harold Lloyd made his first feature in 1922 with my grandmother called Grandma's Boy.
And this is a collection.
This is a beautiful collection that was put together 2 years ago. It's distributed by Warner Brothers,
way,
and
sorry.
it's the Harold Lloyd Comedy Collection. Has 28 titles, totally restored with beautiful symphony scores. And in fact,
and that's something you were in charge of doing.
I was in charge of this, I'm very proud to say, along with UCLA Film and Television Archives that I've worked with for a number of years.
That was very smart for you to get them involved, because they have a great theater school, and they like theater, right? How did you decide to go to them and not SC or someone?
Well, SC actually, my grandfather had a trust, and I was able to do a soundstage for USC.
Oh, you did?
And I donated the Harold Lloyd soundstage at SC for their film program. And he was very dedicated to SC because he shot the freshmen there with the SC football team.
Oh, we went to SC too.
So did my mother. So, but UCLA has probably the finest film restorers and restoration
And you
people there.
needed
And
to
I
restore.
needed that, and we were restoring. But I started doing restorations. In fact, Harold started doing restorations on his films in the early 60s, and he knew how important it was to save nitrate film and to make new negatives and backup negatives and fine grains. So that's why with this collection, which is it's a family-owned collection of films where he owned the copyrights to his own films, not a studio, that by him masterminding that and handing the materials over to me, I was able to take it even farther. But when I was young, I had to do a lot of messy work in the film vaults. I rewound nitrate film,
I was gonna say-
relabeled the film cans. I was always, and he was...
Was it daunting?
It was, but it was very educational. But the funny thing is, he said, you know, everything in Hollywood isn't all glamorous and glitter. It's all hard work. And this is where you have to really start, is what the elements are and what the components are. And then you will know what a quality product is.
Did you take classes?
I
take classes?
I took classes down at SC.
Oh, you
film
could take
school
classes. I see. And
And then I worked in labs, too.
And in the meantime, you produced a documentary on him.
I did, with Kevin Brownlow.
Is it British?
It is British, no, and PBS, American
and
Masters
PBS.
series. And right now I'm in the middle of going to do a remake of Safety Last with Harold on a Clock with Mark Gordon's
I'm going
company.
to show this. It's such a heavy book. This is the book you did. And while we're talking about this, you're doing a silent film gala.
I am doing a silent film gala on May 31st for the Los Angeles Chamber Orchestra.
Here he is on the clock.
There he is on the clock. We're going to be showing Speedy, actually, his last silent movie that he shot on location in New York. And he was the first person to ever take a crew on location. And it stars Babe Ruth.
Well, that's right. Speedy was something that they showed at the Motion Picture Arts and Sciences for their 70th anniversary.
They certainly did.
And tell us, it is Babe Ruth. He drives him?
He drives Babe Ruth all over New York, down Fifth Avenue, and right on over to Yankee Stadium for a game. And it's a fabulous movie. But the thing about Harold Lloyd is he's really the ultimate, he has the template for romantic comedy. He is every man. He's the go-getter of today.
Oh, that's what you were saying.
And
You
he's
want
like,
the kids to know.
Kids have to go. Children have to see Harold Lloyd. And he's so much like Harry Potter's older brother. He has that magic, that charisma, the feeling of being warm and sensitive. And he's somebody that you want to just, you touch out and you feel that he's like your best friend. You want to go out and play with him. You want to have a good time.
Good, clean fun for the kids.
Everything. Children love him.
The other thing on your gala, Dustin Hoffman has worked on that and is going to be the chair of the fundraiser.
Very graciously. He is one of the, he's been our honorary chair of the LA Chamber Orchestra for numbers of years now. And the funny thing is, in The Graduate, when he played his part, he has a fabulous chase that it's a very nice homage from Girl Shy, Harold Lloyd's movie, from how Dustin saved Catherine Ross at the end of The Graduate.
You know what?
It's
It does.
exactly, it is a nice homage, and thank you, Mike Nichols, for that. And my grandfather knew Mike Nichols, and they spoke about it, and it's very thrilling that it can be
come to
so,
feel, didn't it?
It's so contemporized.
Yeah, really. So what else will they be doing at the fundraiser? It's at UCLA?
Well, the amazing thing is we have the composer of the music, Carl Davis, who is wonderful. He is British, actually a U.S. citizen, but lives in England. He has composed 6 scores on Harold Lloyd movies, which these scores are included in this box set. But Carl is coming to actually conduct the LA Chamber Orchestra for their fundraiser, which is really wonderful. It's at Royce Hall. It will be at 7:30 on May 31st. And if you haven't seen a Lloyd movie, it's a great,
what a good
great one to go to. And if somebody hasn't had the experience of seeing a silent movie played to the most magnificent orchestra,
how great.
It is just, it's a treat. It's live cinema. I mean, that's the only way you can really describe it.
You know, you've really opened our eyes. Thank you, Suzanne.
Thank you, Joan. Thank you.
Very much. And thank you for watching this part of the Joan Quinn Profiles. Don't go away because jewelry designer Rhonda Faber Green will be here. Suzanne, brilliant. Hi, I'm Joan Quinn, and welcome back to the Joan Quinn Profiles. Jewelry designer Rhonda Faber Green was born and raised in Los Angeles, went to Fairfax High, and graduated with a Bachelor of Science in Psychology from UCLA. She went to work at Max Factor, where she helped develop new products. Right out of school, she went there. And then she went on to a privately owned jewelry store, working in retail from the ground up. Now, did you always want to do jewelry? Or did you think when you were at Max Factor that that was your calling?
I really thought that that was my calling, and then I met somebody who owned a jewelry store, and I started working in jewelry and loved it, absolutely loved it.
But at Max Factor, that didn't have anything to do with your psychology major, did it?
Nothing, no.
But how did you get into marketing? Because that's really how you learn to do another business, right?
I was working part-time actually at Max Factor when I was going to UCLA.
Oh, that's how it started.
Yes, and I was working in the marketing department, which is just a wonderful department.
I see.
And they asked me to quit UCLA and start working full-time, and I said, no, if you want me, I'll graduate from UCLA and I'll start working full-time right after, and that's what I did.
I see. You come from a pretty artistic family, though,
I
don't
do.
you? You have a background in that. Tell us a little bit about that.
My father, actually an artist and a toy designer. He was working for Mattel and designing toys, but he used to paint and he used to sculpt, and I saw this growing up my whole life. But I loved jewelry from the time I was in high school. I used to make my friends little earrings and bracelets.
But a lot of people say that and they don't actually get into the business.
That's true.
So who was the jeweler that you went to work for?
It was an ex-husband of mine, and it was a
what
very
was the
large,
name?
14 carats.
Oh, it was?
In Beverly Hills, yes.
Oh,
yes.
I see. So you really did work from the bottom up there, too.
I did. I learned everything in that store.
Were you creating it?
I designed the store and the logo, and I bought and I sold, and I designed for private clients, and
I see.
it was great for me because I learned everything. I learned everything from the ground up.
So I don't know what the logo was, but where did the inspiration come from? And how? I mean, you didn't have graphic design work, did you?
You know, when you just know these things, that you just feel it and you dream it and you see it. It comes to you.
You didn't need a graphic designer? That's so
No.
amazing, because it is tough. People go and spend, hours with graphic designers trying to make a logo, and you have a logo on your new. You actually don't, do you?
Well, this is
Oh,
my
maybe you
logo,
do.
the RFG.
Here, this?
Yes, yes.
So did you design this as well?
Yes, I worked with the graphic designer actually, and I said, this is how I want it to look like, because I knew that I wanted a piece on my jewelry to be that oval, and I knew I wanted for it to look like that, and they wouldn't have known it because they're a graphic artist, not a jewelry designer.
And this is Tyra Banks
Yes,
wearing
my sterling silver and diamond earrings.
And so on the back of each piece, is it signed with this oval?
It is, yes. And on the back of the necklaces, I have a little oval piece of gold that has the RFG.
Oh, it is.
Yes.
That's how you do it. When you started your own business, or before you started your own business, I think you were working with Michael Kazanjian Brothers.
Well, this is what happened. I had a private business. I would design people's jewelry. Yes, and with a girlfriend of mine. And we also work with Michael, and I'd known Michael for many years, being in the jewelry business. It's a very small community in Beverly Hills. And one day he said to me, Rhonda, would you like a line with your name? And of course, that's a dream come true for any jewelry designers, and that's how our partnership started.
He's very forward-thinking, Michael Kazanjian, and his brothers, and he has a great shop, and he's gone with Patrick Mauboussin, has done a line with him, P. Mauboussin, or is it Patrick M?
Patrick M, yes.
Patrick M. And now Rhonda Faber Green.
We
started.
Yeah, we started in 2002. I think Patrick has been...
He's new.
He's new, yeah.
He's new.
So I just met him, yes.
But the point is that Michael has an eye for doing something like this and finding you. And when I saw your jewelry, I just was blown away, like this mix of gold, hammered gold.
Yes, that's 22 karat yellow gold and diamonds, yes.
And it's a
cuff.
It's a cuff. It's beautiful.
Thank you.
And so where did the inspiration for something like this come? Because this is the fleur-de-lis, which you love.
Yes, and about 6 years ago, I was just looking at different types of designs, and I noticed the fleur-de-lis in many different cultures, and I even went to the British Embassy, and they had fleur-de-lis all over the embassy there, which was very interesting
I
to
thought
me.
it was only French.
So did I. And I just loved the shape so much, and my mother's name is Lily.
Oh, that's
And
great.
one thing led to another, and I just thought, this is
And
one
the
thing
piece
I'd like to.
behind you is fleur-de-lis also,
It's a fleur-de-lis also, and also I wanted to show this because Carrie-Anna Naba wears this on Dancing with the Stars a lot.
Oh, she does.
And I just saw it in a recap, so I wanted to show this.
So that
because
shows
she loves it.
behind you. And let me show these earrings. It's hard to, I'm going to hold this black thing up behind me so then you can
Those
see.
earrings have been worn to the Oscars, and they're all diamonds and white sapphires.
Oh, they are. And the sapphires are small and faceted?
They're briolette,
Oh, they're
shape.
briolette. How do you get someone to wear your things to the Oscars?
Well, we had an Oscar suite, and people come in, stylists come in, or they just know about your line, and they'll come in and they'll ask you, would you like to loan something out to someone at the Oscars?
And I'm going to show just a couple of these pictures because they are celebrities.
Yes. Paris Hilton has our crown. It's called the filigree crown. And Nicole Richie is actually in this picture wearing our bangles, the 22-karat bangles, and I believe it was her shower.
Oh, it was. Yeah. And this is Paris's sister, Nikki. And then let's show this
and Priscilla Presley, actually I'm wearing the heart. She owns the heart and the diamond dots. And the diamond dots is another one of my ideas. For many years, being in the jewelry field, people used to wear diamonds by the yard. And they would say to me, when it turns, it flips, and you see the backside of a diamond, and I don't like it. And so my idea, very simply, was to take a lot of pave diamonds and pave on both sides.
You pave because if you couldn't put two diamonds back to back. That's what I was wondering.
You can, but then it's very thick.
Diamond dot.
Diamond dot, one word.
And the thing is that you've what did you do with you copyright it?
Yes.
Can you copyright something like that?
You can copyright names and also filigree. I copyrighted.
Filigree.
Yes.
That was interesting too. And for filigree.
Yes.
And what is filigree?
Well, filigree, if we take a look at the
cross
at
again.
the cross.
Okay, I'll bring it back.
The intricate little design in the middle is a filigree design. So.
And what does filigree really mean? Right. The
it's just
design
swirls,
in the middle.
I guess. Swirls is the best way I can describe it. And so I thought, wow, filigree and green, and I put it together.
So that's
and I
your
call
name?
it filigree. Yeah, my last name Green. And I call it my filigree collection.
And I think the thing that I thought was so interesting is you have a filigree, you have green for green. What is green for green?
Well, having my name being Green, I thought it was very appropriate for me to really take a look at the environment. But my daughter is she works in the environment, and she's been teaching me a lot. And I really wanted to create awareness. If everybody just does one thing each day to help the environment, we could really clean up this world.
And how do you do that?
It's as simple as turning off the water instead of brushing your teeth and letting it run.
With jewelry?
Well, with jewelry, it's more difficult because there are chemicals involved in jewelry.
But you have to use less of them, maybe?
Less of them. On something like this, I try to use jewelry and I recycle the gold.
Oh, you do recycle?
Yes, on these pendants, not on everything. But
on the heart that you're wearing and that Priscilla Presley was wearing.
Well, this is my special heart.
It's so beautiful.
Thank you.
It just shimmers.
Thank you. I have a copyright on this.
Well, how could you have a copyright on a heart?
I know, I was so excited. Well, actually, I was in Michael Kasanjan's office, and I got a call from Washington, D.C., and it was an attorney, and he called me and he said, is this Rhonda Faber Green? And I said, yes. And he said, I'm calling about your copyright on the heart. And I said, oh, great. And he said, well, we never copyright hearts. And then I was ready to say, well, thank you for calling, thanks and goodbye. And he said, wait a minute, we're granting you the copyright. Well, I must have said, I thank you about 1,000,000 times to him.
And what's so different about it and unusual?
He said they just thought it was so unusual. They've never seen anything like this. And they granted me the copyright on it.
And what is unusual? Is it twisted?
It's just the way I put the design in the center, and created the look and the diamonds, and now it's so popular that I have it in 4 sizes.
Is that right?
Yes, this is the largest.
And so you use your name in your collection. You
Yes.
use your last name. There's another, the Verdi.
Then I do everything that's hammered. In fact,
these
are
bracelets,
sterling
yeah.
silver bracelets, and anything that's hammered I call the Verde collection, which I looked up, and it means green in Spanish and Italian, but I was thrilled because now I have
So you
them.
use sterling silver?
I do.
And you set diamonds in it?
I just started to do that because, you know, with the economy the way it is, I want people to be able to wear my jewelry. And yes, I set white diamonds and black diamonds. In fact, this is all sterling silver.
How unusual is that, setting diamonds in
Yes, and
sterling silver? Does the silver get tarnished?
I also, the way we do this silver is that we put rhodium finish over it, and it's made just like a gold piece would be made. In fact, each of these sterling silver bangles takes 10 hours to make. One person to hammer it,
to hammer it.
they hammer it, they milligrain, which is little marks around the gold. I guess the best way to tell you that. They sandpaper it, they rhodium finish
Really?
it. Takes a long time, and they're I mean, I'm so thrilled with the way these turned out.
Did you ever study at the GIA?
I never studied the GIA, but you know, working in retail, I learned so much. You know, for 10 years, I sorted diamonds. It was probably better than working at the GIA. I mean, it was one-on-one for 10 years with diamonds and gold and seeing all different designers and having that contact with the customer and knowing exactly what they want. In fact, somebody would come up to me and ask me for something, and I already knew what they would look best in, and they would trust me.
I think the interesting thing is, because this is so architectural and because you have that feeling of art and architecture, you're in the historic building on Rodeo.
Yes, I'm in a Frank Lloyd Wright building. In fact, when the penthouse became available, I was so excited because it is the greatest space. There's so much light. I picked up the carpet because somebody put carpet on this bright red concrete floor.
Oh, wow.
And also all my lighting fixtures are cut in a triangle shape.
To match the tower of the building.
Yes.
It's so great.
It's a fantastic building.
And I thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you so much.
And I'm going to hold this up. Tell us who this is.
Well, this is
somebody.
Wait a minute. Oh, I'm great with names.
That's okay. Email me. You can see her work. Email me, jaquinn1@aol.com, and keep writing. 777 South Figueroa, 44th floor, Los Angeles 90017.